Welcome back to the Beauty Lab podcast. I'm your host, Monina, and today we're going to be interviewing my beautiful co-host, Velia.
Hello.
Velia's been in the industry for over 20 years. She's an educator. She's been a cosmetologist. She also owns her own hair care line. So today we're going to talk about hair types.
Welcome to the Beauty Lab podcast, your drive time resource for all things beauty, health, and wellness. We're your hosts and favorite beauty nerds, Monina and Velia.
Join us as we debunk myths, explore the latest trends, and dive deep into the science behind your favorite products. We'll interview industry experts and answer your burning beauty questions in 30 minutes or less. All right, Velia. So let's start with the fact that we all have a million products under our sink.
Yeah.
Including me. So we have all these products, but what advice can you give us when looking to purchase products?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we do. We all have like a graveyard of hair products that are just rotting. We feel bad throwing them away because they cost like a ton of money.
Exactly. Like I just got rid of like this hair gel that I've had, no kidding, maybe 5 years.
Yeah. I know. You actually gave me a bunch of Kerastase products one time, and I also felt bad getting rid of them, but they didn't work for my hair.
Yeah, I know.
So the reason that hair products don't work in certain hair is because they're not made for that particular hair type. Mm-hmm. So it's not like we're born with the knowledge of what our hair type is. And somehow, I like to call it big beauty, doesn't really want us to know exactly what's best for us because I think they kind of want us to try everything. That's my conspiracy theory. But I'm going to break down hair types right now. So there are 3 different components that go into your hair type. The first one is your wave pattern. So is your hair straight? Is it wavy? Is it curly? Is it coily? Okay, so coily is like super tight curls. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening at home, check one of those boxes right now. Do you have straight, wavy, curly, or coily hair? The second part of a hair type is the density. So how much hair do you have? Mm-hmm. So the words that we use to describe density are either thin, medium, or thick. So that means, technically it means how many hairs per square inch. Like if you took a square inch of your scalp and you counted how many. So thin, medium, or thick. Obviously thin is you have less, medium is you have like kind of an average amount. Mm-hmm. Thick is you have a lot more than the average, okay?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Can the hair type, like you said, the coily and the straight, can it change over time?
Oh, totally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, usually hair changes a couple of times throughout your life. Like hormones are a big factor in why your wave pattern changes. Mm-hmm. So like I had basically straight hair, maybe a little bit of wave when I was younger. And then when I went through puberty, it went totally curly. And it like kind of started in like sections of my head, like kind of started in the back, which I see all the time.
Yeah, actually you're right. Like you'll lift people's hair and it's like a little curlier in the back than in the rest. And they hate that.
I know. And they always think that they're like some kind of freak for having that, but that is so common. Okay. So if you have like a patch of curly hair on your head and you're like, why can't it all be this curly? Yeah, you're not alone.
When you told me like I Asian stick straight hair my whole life, she was doing my hair a few months ago, and she's like, Monina, you have wavy hair. I'm like, no, I don't. It's straight.
Yeah, somewhere in there, maybe after you had kids, or I don't know. That was a while ago, but still. Yeah, so that can definitely change. All of it really can change, and all of it usually does change. So, and not always dramatically, but like a little bit. Mm-hmm. So the density can change as well. Obviously, we all have like this fear of having like really thin hair as we get older. And so, okay, just to recap. So we have wave pattern, we have density, and then the third part is texture. So when you think of texture, sometimes you think like curly and straight and wavy. That's not texture in the cosmetology like definition of texture. So texture is basically each strand of hair, how fat each strand of hair is. So it's fine, medium, or coarse. So fine hair is like, think of like twine, like if we're using, like a rope, think of like twine. And then medium would be a little bit bigger than that. And then coarse would be like a thicker rope. And really all that means is how strong your hair is. So if you have fine hair, it's going to be more fragile. If you have medium hair, it's just basically average, strength. And then coarse hair is going to be like yours, which is like really strong.
So that's texture?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
I know. It's not like...
Because when you say texture, you think how wavy,
I know.
how... all these definitions all tend to like blend in together.
And it's really not like that important because yes, the texture does kind of encompass a couple of different things, but for the sake of just kind of keeping things separate, we'll call this part texture, and we'll call the wave pattern.
So if somebody has breakage issue, does that mean their texture isn't strong?
It could.
Okay.
A lot of times if you have breakage issues, it's chemically or like heat induced.
Sure. Okay.
But to kind of answer your question a little bit differently, like you're more prone to breakage if your hair is finer because it's more fragile.
It's more fragile. Okay, so if we say texture, it's more how fragile or strong.
Exactly. And some of the buzzwords that we see that are on shampoo bottles or hair product bottles and stuff like that are like dry damaged, like shampoo for dry or damaged hair. That's not a texture.
Sometimes it says textured, but that's what you're saying. It should say texture.
It shouldn't say the word texture, but it should say like fine hair for medium hair for, that kind of stuff. Thin hair. But they like to clump things together that don't belong together. And that's why it's so confusing. Like, because we'll see like dry, damaged, coarse together. Coarse has nothing to do with with how dry or damaged your hair is.
Because coarse
has
the wave pattern? No.
The strength.
The strength. Okay.
Yeah. So coarse is not like, oh, I've done all this chemical service to my hair and now it's coarse.
Okay.
That is totally incorrect. Coarse is strong hair, and I'm kind of jealous of people with coarse hair because their hair, coarse hair doesn't move necessarily as well. Like it doesn't curl as well. We all know people who have like really strong hair that it's hard to like get it to curl.
Yeah, like when we work with brides and they have more of the stick straight Asian coarse hair.
Yes.
It doesn't want to bend no matter how much heat you put to it. It's really hard to bend.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And your hair, for example, yes, you have Asian hair, but you have kind of like medium coarse. The reason it's not like super coarse, one of the indicators I should say is that you're able to hold a curl and it's able to move. Like it blow dries well with a round brush and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But each individual strand is very strong.
Got it.
Yeah. I know a lot of people think coarse is something it totally isn't.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. that was awesome. Thank you. So now hopefully now that you know what your hair type is, it'll make it a lot easier when you're reading the labels.
Well, and so that's the other thing. It kind of doesn't. Like, you have to do a little bit more research, unfortunately, to figure out. It's very important that you know your hair type. So, like, my hair type is medium density, wavy, medium texture.
Okay.
Okay.
So hair type is kind of the beginnings of understanding what products you should use. Okay, so then on that note, I have another question. Tell us what is the absolute basics then that people should be using or looking for, that they should be using either daily or weekly to help keep their hair healthy, and so they're buying products that's actually meant for them.
Yeah, so The basics that you should have, shampoo, conditioner, obviously. In addition to shampoo and conditioner, and they do matter. Shampoos and conditioners really, really matter because there's a lot of, and this kind of all goes back to hair type. So like if you're using a shampoo and conditioner that is meant for curly hair, but your curly hair is fine and thin, but you're using a product that's meant for curly hair, but it's meant for like really thick, coarse, curly hair. Your hair is, and your best friend who has, the other hair type recommended, and she's like, oh my God, we both have curly hair. This is the best product for curly hair. And you use it and you're like, I look like a greasy, I don't even know, like just a drowned rat. Like
it weighs it down.
It weighs it down way too much because it's not right for your type. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So like, for example, like when I made my product line, I labeled all of my bottles based on hair type. So like if you are confused about what kind of product to buy, but you have fine but thick, because you can have fine and thick hair, because thin and fine are not the same. So if you have fine, thick, wavy hair, you could easily figure out what products are good for your hair type. Okay. And some of them are good for all hair types, because the problem with like thin or fine hair sometimes is that, like you were saying before, like your hair gets weighed down really easily. But my products are made to be weightless, so they work for every hair type.
Okay.
For the most part.
Okay, because I want to go into your hair care line. But before we do that, just as a recap, then, for everyone, no matter what age, then like the basics. Yeah.
Shampoo, conditioner. Leave-in conditioner.
And leave-in conditioner.
Yeah, definitely leave-in conditioner. For like a fine hair, if you want a little bit more texture in your hair, like a little bit more grip, and have to have a little bit more volume, I would say like a styling cream that's made for fine hair.
Okay.
And that's more of like on a styling, I wouldn't say that's like a necessity for hair health. That's more on a styling realm.
Okay.
And then a shine serum for everybody. I know that's kind of like cringy to hear if you have like really fine and thin hair, because you're like, I can't use shine serum, my hair is gonna look greasy.
Yeah, or people with really oily hair.
Or people with really
stay away from anything that gives shine at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like people with really oily hair never discriminate against shine serum. Like they're like, I don't even care. My hair is oily. I need more shine.
Oh, that's funny. Because me, in the past, when it was so oily, I thought I was the last person that needed some. But now I love it. I mean, now that she's educated me on it, I love putting it at the ends, because even though I may be oily here, the rest of my hair looks totally dehydrated or parched, and those serums really help perk those ends up. So.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're oily on your scalp, I mean, that's where the oil comes from.
Right.
So then that's like a whole different kind of, like, you need to balance that out. You need to figure out your perfect like little routine for how often you wash it, and like what you're using to wash it, and all that kind of stuff. It shouldn't really have a lot of bearing on like keeping the ends healthy. And the shine serums really stay on the ends, basically.
That's where it should go.
Yeah, I mean, it's situational, but for the most part.
Okay. All right, well then let's move on to talking about the line. Now that you have your own hair care line, because I know in the past we've talked for so many years, or you've talked about, okay, I like this shampoo in this line, I love this serum in this line, but there's like not one line that just kind of served you and your whole clientele base. Yeah. Okay, so now talk to us about how you chose the certain products that you have, or like you were saying, like you actually label it to make it easier for people.
So I think like my philosophy is always less is more. And in my line, I don't have a million different shampoos. I don't have a million different conditioners. I have a moisture shampoo, I have a volume shampoo, and then I have like a purple shampoo. That's really all you need. Like, shampoo's job is to clean your hair. So if you're buying a shampoo that is smoothing and adds protein and like does all the like strengthening, like all of these things, it's like, Doesn't, because
It's more marketing.
it's marketing, and maybe there's like an ingredient or something in there that makes it not a lie, like, but at the same time, you want the shampoo to do one job, and that's to clean your hair, and you want it to do a good job at that. Of course, gently clean your hair. You don't want it to strip all the oils off your hair and like make you feel all dry, but when you're asking it to do like all these other jobs, it's not going to do a good job of any of them.
Right.
So I knew that I wanted it minimal because then it's way less confusing for people.
Absolutely. I also just wanted to reiterate, when it comes to the types of shampoos, she goes really into a deep dive about surfactants and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Please watch that episode, because she does go to a deeper dive on shampoos and the different types of surfactants and why they're not bad for you.
I think it's episode 6.
Okay, so please go listen to that. But anyways.
Yeah, so I knew I wanted the shampoos and conditioner options to be minimal, because really we either want more moisture or we want more volume. And the volume shampoo is also extremely moisturizing. It's just not as moisturizing as the moisture shampoo. And it has ingredients in there that help like plump up the hair. And then as far as like the styling products go, like I have one leave-in conditioner that's weightless and it's good for all hair types. I haven't yet come across a hair type that it doesn't work really well for. And I was worried that it was going to be a little too light for some hair types that need like a lot of moisture. No, it's great. It's great for curl, it's great for straight, it's great for fine, for thin, it's great for everybody. I won't go through every single product, but there is a product for everybody. I'm not...
Well, talk to us about how you've labeled it, because I know that's what distinguishes your line from other lines.
Yeah, well, it just makes it so much easier, like, to understand. So if you understand your hair type and you're looking for products, it's literally on the front of the bottle for fine, thin, hair, for medium to coarse hair, for medium to thick hair, for all hair types, for,
I just thought of something. So the people that are in the area, if you wanted to figure out what your hair type was, they could definitely come see you.
Yeah.
But for those of you who are not in the area, do you offer like maybe a Zoom consult? Do
Sure.
you do anything like that?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah, I think once you realize what your hair type is, then you can go into the store and start purchasing things that are meant for your hair type. A lot easier.
And I'll link in the show notes. I'll link my website for the hair products and stuff too. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, gosh, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about or add?
Not really. I mean, basically, to avoid like contributing more and more to the graveyard under your sink, you just really need to figure out your hair type. And if you're really confused about it, ask us.
Yeah.
And I'll help you. I'll help you figure it out. It helps to touch the hair, but it's also like I've seen enough for all of my life doing this that I can easily identify a hair type.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, to wrap up, we always like to look at some questions that our viewers have submitted.
Oh, yay.
So we have a question from Julie from San Diego.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Question is, what styling tool do you recommend to someone who has a really hard time styling their own hair? You go in, you get it blow dried, it looks beautiful for a day or two, and then you just can't replicate it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, what could you use?
Okay, so I know that some people really can't manage a blow dryer and a brush and at the same time, and I understand. It's a hassle. It really is. So I think a blow dryer brush is like a fantastic tool. There are a couple of warnings I would like to talk about with a blow dryer brush, but I think that a blow dryer brush is better in a lot of ways, like versus like just letting your hair air dry and then using a curling iron or a flat iron or something like that on it. The reason I like the blow dryer brush versus a curling iron is because it doesn't get as hot, and curling irons, no matter how much you tell people you don't need to put them over 300 or 350 for like coarser hair, they always like crank that bad boy up to 450. And then, we see it all over TikTok with people burning their hair off. Okay, so that's one reason. It lasts longer when, like your style, lasts longer when you start off blow drying from like damp or wet hair, it lifts the hair off of the scalp, which gives you more volume. Sometimes, like when you let your hair air dry and then you just use a curling iron, you're still flat. Like you don't get that lift.
Oh yeah, I definitely see a difference. I'm sure you've all seen the difference between blow drying it and styling it from being wet, as opposed to then just going home and trying to curl it yourself. Yeah, big difference.
One thing that I have to say, when you're using a blow dryer brush, you want to stay organized anytime you're blow drying your hair. So use lots of clips, clip it up at least in 3 sections and let down like 1 section at a time so you're not blow drying over the same sections, because that's where the damage is caused. Like especially like when you're just blow drying, even before you get the blow dryer brush, if you're just blow drying your hair and you're blow drying the top and like the underneath is all wet and you're just blow drying and blow drying and blow drying and like the top is like frying off and the bottom is still wet, like it's like, come on people, get it together. You gotta just blow dry the part that you want dry, and then start from the bottom, work your way up. That's what I would do. And then obviously not every blow dryer brush is equal to other blow dryer brushes. There's some that are way better than others. I love the Shark blow dryer with all of their attachments. I like it better than Dyson. A lot of people do. A lot of professionals do.
So you haven't ever seen one. When she says attachments, it's actually a blow dryer, but you can actually interchange the attachment. So it could be a brush, it could be a wand, it could be all different types of attachments.
But you don't have to invest. Like the Dyson's like $600 and the Shark's like $300 or $400, and those are great. Again, Shark's better than Dyson, but you don't have to spend that much money on one. There are just a blow dryer brush. Like you don't have to get the blow dryer with all the attachments. So,
I was going to ask you, because I do, I do look around and I've seen different people recommend things, and there are ones that are less than $100 that seem to work just fine.
Yeah, GHD, the brand GHD, I believe just released a new blow dryer brush that I've heard good things about. I haven't tried it, but I would just say, look at the reviews. That's all. That would be my biggest thing. You don't have to spend like $300. Just look at the reviews. That's what I would say. I mean, again, even though you're not using a brush and a blow dryer at the same time, you still want to use clips and stay organized as you blow dry.
Right. And I know there was one product you had me test out.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So I did test this out. She's like, tell me what you think. So I thought it was a blow dryer brush.
So this is the Wavy Talk. This is all over TikTok. This is the Wavy Talk curling brush. It's not a blow dryer brush.
It's blow dryer brush.
It's just like a curling iron, but in a brush.
It gets really hot.
It gets crazy hot. And like I've seen people using, like there are accounts on TikTok that are just like, that's all they do is they use this brush. I hate it. I'm gonna be honest, I hate it. I think it gets stuck in your hair. It only barely curls the end. And so that's why I gave it to Monina, because I was like, well, your hair's longer, let's see what happens with your hair. And
well, at first I thought it was a blow dryer curl, and then realized, oh no, it's not. It's a curling brush. So yes, I did try to do like a back flip with it, and I don't know if it's because my hair is more coarse, right, or a little straight. Right? Am I saying that right? Straighter. It gave me a tiny bend. So if you're looking to make curls like what you have, your waves or curls, I don't think this can accomplish that. What it did accomplish were my bangs.
Okay.
That's about it.
Yeah, it's good for bangs. And so in all fairness, I see this used a lot on people who have long, naturally curly or wavy hair. So that could be the difference why even on longer hair, you just got that little bit of bend, because really what it's doing for the people who have like naturally curly or frizzy and curly wavy hair is that it's smoothing it out. And that kind of hair is gonna curl no matter what you have to say about it, So I don't think it's a real fit. And honestly, the way that it got kind of tangled in my hair and stuck in, I don't know if you felt that, I felt like I had to like really rip it through. I can only imagine if my hair was longer, frizzier, and curlier, how much worse it was gonna be,
Right.
I just wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Unless you just need it for bangs.
Unless you need it for bangs, and your bangs are exactly what Monita
Yeah,
has.
that's all I do is do the bangs.
You know, maybe we'll try it out on other bangs. Maybe this is a good like solution for curtain bangs.
Curtain. Ooh.
Yeah,
I think
maybe,
curtain. Yeah,
maybe.
Okay.
We'll test it out again.
Test it out. But all right, well that's all the time we have today.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Velia. That was I always learn so many new things. So if you've liked or enjoyed our topic today, please like, share, and subscribe. And my name's Monina.
And I'm Velia.
Until next time,
Keep experimenting with your beauty routine.